Hey guys, what's going on? Sunny and Darren,
Darren.
World Team Fitness coming to you tonight with a very special episode. In tonight's episode, we're going to be interviewing my good friend Arthur Lyle. Hi, Arthur. Say hi.
Hey,
Arthur is an international bodybuilding expert and is the author of his own book. It's called The Cutting Edge. And I will let him tell you more about that in just a minute. So, Arthur, thanks for coming on tonight. How are you?
thanks for having me. How are you guys? Hey, Darren.
We're
what's
doing
going on?
great. Thank you so much. So, as you know, on our channel, we do a lot of clean eating. We try to do clean eating on World Team Fitness. We promote a functional lifestyle of fitness, and especially for folks over 40.
Yeah.
And we met about 8 or 9 months ago, but that's when I learned this activity about you. And I would love to know more about your healthy lifestyle.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's definitely a lifestyle. It's a hard lifestyle to maintain, but it's definitely, in order to maintain it, you got to transition into a lifestyle. That's for sure. That's for sure.
So tell everybody who gets to see that. Sorry. Start by telling everybody about the title that you have, and we'll work backwards.
Say again?
Tell everybody about the title that you
So um, my dog is I love on me. So I've been always in fitness, so to speak, my whole life. I've always been an athlete. You know, I played sports growing up, always a kid, basketball, football. My first love is basketball, and so I've been playing that for forever. So I always kind of was fortunate with the athletic body, so to speak, for a while.
have.
So I mean, so fitness is kind of in me in its own sense. However, I did hit a phase where I started to not be such a fit guy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
No, and funny thing is, true story. I started to embrace it for a little while. Like I would remember saying, like, when I get old one day, I want to be that old fat grandpa that sit around here and give his grandkids $1 or $5 and tell them to go buy stuff. And so that was just an old funny joke that I always had for myself. But then at one point there was when I started getting a nice belly and things like that, I was like, I don't know if I really still like that.
Right.
I don't, I mean, I liked it and I appreciated it for a while. And I used to say, I earned this belly. And that was cool for a little while until one day my daughter told me my stomach looked like the Grinch. And and it was funny in all jokes and games until one day on Christmas we were watching the movie The Grinch, and I was like, man, that's what my belly looks like. She was saying.
Oh no.
And that changed everything for me. And that day, I made a decision that day that I got to get back to being fit, and that's how I started to get into my new lifestyle of fitness. So that's pretty much a synopsis of that story of how I got back in it.
Oh, that is a great story. Being compared to the Grinch, that was probably good for me.
Yeah. Anytime your daughter says you got a big belly and you look like the Grinch, it's funny until you see what the Grinch belly looks like, and you're talking about you. So yeah, skinny guy with a belly. It's not fun.
Yeah. So okay. So you made the decision. Then what happened?
So I tried a couple different things. Like I said, I was always into basketball and things like that. But with my job and my business the businesses that I do, it's so demanding, and I'm such now at a point where I have to, people rely on me to do the business that I have, which is my barbershop and the speaking thing I do, and the coaching. So I do a lot of traveling and doing hair shows and just all those things, and I'm always on my feet cutting hair. Whether it's in my own barbershop or I'm teaching somebody else in a workshop. So I wanted to still be active and in sports. However, I felt like the sport of basketball was so physical that it was dangerous for me to play at the level that I wanted to always play. So with that being said, I had to find something that gave me the same type of feel, joy, exhilarating, high intensity results, or just that high, I guess, in as far as fitness, that wasn't as dangerous and potentially get injury prone. So
Yeah.
I went looking to find out for a couple of years what I can do. So I tried a couple different things. I also wanted that mental challenge. So I tried running. So there was like a phase where I was just running, trying to train for a marathon. So I would run I started off running a mile. I started off walking because I was a fat boy.
Yep.
Um, so I started off walking just my block every day. I would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, just go walk. And, I started doing that. And then, I don't know, about a month later, I started to jog. Then all of a sudden, I started to run. So I would run a mile every day before, get up at 5 o'clock. And each time I tried to challenge myself a little bit more. And I went 2 miles. And then I had found one of my clients that liked running. So he, invited me to go run with him. And we started running, and we would do like 3 miles. And I was not prepared for that.
Wow.
So I almost died with him running,
Yeah.
trying to go 3 miles. But it was good. It was good for me, but it wasn't like basketball. So then I tried CrossFit, and CrossFit was kind of there, but I never was the guy to lift weights. So I like the high intensity and all of that, that intense training. But CrossFit, I ended up getting hurt. And I had
Oh, yeah?
I pinched my nerve on the back of my neck lifting weights, and so I was out for about 8 months. So, I picked up some more weight, and so I was like in a lot of pain. So it troubled me at work, and just life. My life was just different for a while. So I finally got healed there, and then I was wanting to get back into fitness, and then that's when this bodybuilding thing came around. And and then I dove into that, and then I could tell you a little bit more about that. And that's really when things started to change for me to, a different perspective of just fitness, life, business, and just discipline as a whole. And I think that was a change for me. So, yeah.
So do you think you went from being like more cardio?
Well, I'm more of a mental challenge kind of guy, so I want to mentally challenge myself to the. My thing is, I want to work harder than everybody else, and no matter what I do. And so, and how can I get that type of result? I wanted to do some of the most challenging things that when my body gives up, but my mind makes me keep going. So that's why I was doing things like marathons and CrossFit.
Oh, wow.
Those are things that average people will not do or don't sustain. And that's kind of my thinking was. And with my financial goals of wanting to be a multi-millionaire and take my company, and scale it up to 8 figures and plus, I realized that I needed the mindset of the millionaire opposed to just with the discipline and things like that versus just the physical body. And I think what I found out that they go together. So, and that was why I was searching for that. And so if you can change your mind mentally to work through those hard times, everything else was easy. And then that was the shift for me. That's what I was looking for.
And I think it's important to have a mental focus
Yeah.
of where you're trying to
Right.
right?
My theory is most people work outside in, and I wanted to be different and work inside out. If my mind is strong, then my body can be strong. If my mind is strong, then my business can be strong. And because I feel like no matter how hard I work on my mind or internal, that everything on the outside would be a lot easier because I've already challenged myself, to those degrees. So how bodybuilding came about was it just really started with a challenge, honestly. And I'm so competitive, so and everybody was saying I should do it, and but I really wasn't into weights. Really, I like really calisthenics. I've all been a basketball player all my life, so weights was never my thing. Just push-ups, pull-ups, and cardio. So the challenge started just like, hey, I bet you couldn't do it. You won't hold up, and that was enough for me to get started. And and I have to admit, it was very challenging, because it's just different. It was something I wasn't used to. But the way I think is,
Was there a group?
huh?
Was there a group for the challenge?
No, it was just me, myself, and another one of my fellow barbers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he's done it before, so he was like my coach, and so he kind of coached me through the whole thing. I had no idea what I was doing originally, so I kind of originally just kind of followed his lead to kind of get started. And it was amazing because I was looking for something different, But in order to get something different, you got to do something different. That was the mentality that I had. So we did it, and I did a complete 180 with my body. I lost 30 pounds in less than 3 months. I totally transformed my body. We worked out 4 to 5 days a week. Totally changed my diet. I mean, it was just totally different from what I ever known. And so from that point, just the consistency of that and putting those clean foods in my body consistently without cheating and having sweets and all those things, it framed my mind and have discipline. And that's really what I was looking for, the discipline to do it even when you didn't want to do it. And that's what bodybuilding done for me, to be able to.
So what does a typical day of eating look like for you?
A typical day to eating is a totally different change than the normal. Instead of going 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I went from breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or maybe even just 1 to 2 meals, lunch and dinner. A lot of times, for me standing all day in a barbershop, or breakfast and dinner. A lot of times, I went from that to 6 meals a day. So I would wake up at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. I would be at the gym at 5, and I would have a meal before that. And I'll have another meal at 9, and every 3 hours after that, I will eat every 3 hours. So when I was my bulking stage, I would eat about 3,100 calories a day, and so everything is calculated.
Yeah.
So, and if anybody's interested in just trying to, eat right or eat healthy, I realize that if you set a goal and you reverse engineer, that's the best way to kind of to depict where you want to be. So with me having 3,100 calories, I find out what foods that I liked, which for me, I don't eat beef or pork. So it was a lot of chicken, a lot of fish, a lot of turkey, and a lot of white rice, or just white rice, period. Avocados.
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes. And that was mainly it, honestly. No salt.
Have
no
you
peppers.
have you seen the outtake of The Rock coming up?
The Rock, he's
Yeah, have you seen him eating?
He's
right.
he's crazy. Yeah, The Rock is crazy. Yeah, yeah, The Rock is.
Okay, so you this transformation, then what happened?
So
Tell us about the competition.
yeah, so I competed in my first bodybuilding competition, something I never knew about. And my first competition, I did a complete transformation and stepped on stage. Had absolutely no idea what it was to expect, and I took second place on my first. Thank you. And there, I kind of ate really bad right afterward because I just couldn't help but crave pizza. I've been craving pizza for months. So, but after that, I put all those bad foods in me, and I really couldn't eat as much as I wanted to. It was weird. So I feel like my stomach shrank, and so my appetite shrank. So all those bad foods just were no good for me. So I realized that I had to continue eating like I was eating because I've created a habit. And there was another show coming up. I re-signed up for this next show. I took second place in this one again. And all of a sudden, I just kind of started enjoying the process. And then I did 4 shows last year. And I would qualify for a World National Bodybuilding Competition in Miami. And I took top 5 in the world out there in Miami. And all of this transformation a little less than a year. I think so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty good. It's just all of it starts with a decision and some discipline. I think those are the 2 main things that really help me get over those humps. Yeah.
So what was your time frame? A year and a half?
No, my original transformation was only 3 months. So I'm a skinny fat boy to fit guy place in 3 months. That was a lot of dedication, though. That was a lot of almost no cheats for 3 months. I was determined. I didn't want the Grinch belly no more. I didn't want the Grinch. And so that was my original transformation. And I did 3 more shows after that. All of 2018 is when was my original bodybuilding journey.
Wow.
So
on a typical workout day now, do you do cardio still?
Yes, I do. So normally my workouts are about an hour and a half most. only time it'd be an hour and a half is when I got cardio days. So I have a long day running the business and husband at home, me being a husband at home to my wife, kids, business, all those things. So I have to make sure that if I'm going to be competing and doing those things, that I have to also make time for the rest of my other responsibilities. So I got to make sure I pack in all of those hard workouts in just an hour. And like I said, if I got cardio, it'll be an hour and a half. So anybody can do it. It's just being more efficient with your time. Being efficient with your time, and I like to prep my food out, and that gives me more time, more opportunity to get a lot more done in less time.
Do you still compete on the weekend right now?
Well, right now, no. I'm back to all the way training. I want to. I'm prepping again. So for me, like my birthday's in July, so I just want to be like super hot bod guy in July, summer months. So, and not to mention that I'm also going to be training for a show in November. So,
Nice.
for me, I'm back full fledged on my training and my meal plan. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Excellent. Well, I know you're going to crush it.
Huh?
I know you're going to crush
it. Yeah, I'm looking to crush it for sure. Yeah, looking to crush it.
Do you have any questions?
Hey,
my friend.
Frame here. So, what kind of supplement regimen do you use?
What type of supplement?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I kind of keep it. I use creatine and mostly just.
There you go.
I like vitamins. The vitamins that I use they're normally like an animal vitamin. I cannot recall the name right now, but they're really big pills though. They're really I like to swallow sometimes. I hate them, but in order to get the nutrients that I need, they have all those amino acids. I utilize amino acids to repair my muscles and things like that. And like I said, creatine until it's time for me to start prepping, or not prepping, but my peak week, the week of peak, and I cut all of those things out. But for the most part, I just keep it simple. Sometimes a little carboline, which is just basically carb in a drink, so to speak, to simplify it. Those are the only things that I use. I do all natural shows, so I just try to keep it real simple and to the bare minimum. Yeah, most of the supplements come from the food, like a lot of natural foods and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So, what would be the proportions? Like protein to fat to carbs?
Well, yeah, protein. I didn't say protein. What was your question?
I think like portions for like fat to protein to carbs.
The portions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends on your goals. But you want to keep your fats. It depends on your goals. Honestly, everybody's different. But normally with the proteins that I use, I try to just use a protein that goes straight to your system. Not that kind of holds weight, like a good whey or things like that. That dissolves quickly. That's kind of the goal for me. Like I want it to hit and work right away. Really, and I like to have as much protein as possible and as less calories as possible in your proteins. So those are the things that I kind of look forward in when I'm trying to pick a nice protein shake or a protein powder. Those are the things that I'm looking for. Yeah, because I want to maximize.
Right. Yeah.
Maximize my proteins for sure. Yeah.
So do you subscribe like that old rule of thumb, like 2 grams of protein per kilo of body?
So how I measure, like I start with my calorie counts and then I reverse engineer. There's a great app that I use that kind of helps me justify, my numbers, which is MyFitnessPal. So, and the cool thing about it is that I don't work with MyFitnessPal or anything like that. So it's just I'm not getting any money for that, but it's a great tool that I use. But what it allows you to do, you can scan a barcode with your phone or tablet, whatever you have. And let's say if you have a protein shake, protein bar, or maybe your vitamins or whatever it is, it has that barcode where it can actually scan and it'll tell you how many per scoops, how many grams, how many fats. It kind of is your assistant to calculating your calories.
Oh, nice.
So, and that's one of the things that I use, especially when you start getting up those high calorie counts. It can get difficult, especially if you're new to counting calories. It can be difficult because there's a science behind it. Everything is a science. So yeah, and I recommend it because it definitely helped me understand more. Because there were times where I just was kind of lost for words. Like I don't know how I'm gonna get 3,100 calories in me today.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know. So yeah, I think that is really that's a cool tool. That's what I say. Cool tool.
We'll have to check. We'll drop a link in there.
Yeah.
So Arthur, before we end our show, I would like for you to tell us about your book.
My book.
And tell us why you wrote it and what's in it. I've read this book. I know there's mindset in here as well.
Okay, well, first of all, that's the best book on the shelf right now. You got to go get
Yes.
it. Obviously, there's a cheers on there, but there is the cutting edge, but not only for barbers, but it's cutting edge secrets to success. Basically, it's the guide that I have from my struggles to success story on how I started with just $1 and a dream, and I built my dream. So I have a lot of key components, key strategies, a lot of lessons that I personally failed at. So I wanted to make a shortcut for other people so they don't necessarily have to fail if they are in the same industry, same opportunities, same business, same mindset. So it's basically your guide to thrive in your own business. Is what it is.
Okay.
So through true tried and failed experiences, and yeah. So that's what
nice.
Cutting edge.
And you own your own barbershop.
I own my own barbershop for going on. This is my 10th year in business. They say after 5 years is a real business. I guess I doubled that up.
Nice. So you own your own business. You're a master barber. You've written your own book. You are a motivational speaker.
Yeah.
And you also teach at the local hair college. You teach the barber segment.
Yeah, so I guess I'm a fit barber, master motivator. So yeah. So yeah. Yeah, so that's what I do. I own my own barbershop business, and I've been teaching barber for the last 12 years, barbering and hairstyling for the last 12 years at a master's level. Yes, and the best part about it, I think, how fitness applies to it is because it's easy. A lot of barbers and a lot of stylists cutting hair behind a chair, you end up starting to get. We don't really have good diets, okay? Because we working so much, so long, a lot of the times that we don't have time to eat. We have time for everybody else, but not enough time for ourselves.
Right.
So, that's kind of how fitness and barbering kind of goes together. Just the journey of me, being on both sides. It's an amazing transition to be now a fit person and also being that master barber. To be able now to actually have the momentum to do all of those things because it takes quite a task.
And you're in Omaha, is that correct?
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. Okay. I'm near you, anywhere you need to be. So yeah,
exactly.
Traveling master barber, bodybuilder guy.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we look forward to seeing how you play at the shows in the future.
Thank you so much.
That's for sure. I know we'll be in touch again.
Yeah.
So I guess we can we'll link to Arthur down in the show notes because this is available on Amazon. Right? It's on Amazon.
You can get it on Amazon, or you can go to barberseye.com is my website. Or and then make sure you get that book, buy one for a friend, because I'm confident that it will change not only your life but many other lives to come, because there's so many keys in there that deals with our everyday life. And you don't have to be a barber, you don't have to be a bodybuilder to read that book, to take a lesson from it. You could be a plumber and take lessons from that book, because there's so many gems and jewels in there. It's really the cutting edge secrets. So
it is. There was some really good stuff in here that I was looking through here. 12 lessons for success, you guys. So they're right here. Right there. They're on page 61. You'll have to get the book to find out where they are.
12 hard lessons. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, Arthur, thank you so much for coming out tonight. That's actually our show. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we?
I just want to say thank you guys for having me on your show, on your timeline, and a blessing to anybody that's looking at level up. I just tell you, it takes desire, discipline, and dedication. You can fulfill any dream that you have. And if I can help you in any kind of way, find me on social media. I'm Arthur Lyle. Every social media on Instagram is where I'm mostly at. And it's
Okay.
Arthur_Lyle. And shoot me a DM, shoot me a message. YouTube, doesn't matter. I love to connect with any and everybody. So I thank you again for being on your platform. Thanks, guys.
Hey, no problem. Great having you on. You want to say hi?
Hey, this is Dr. Arthur, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you, trying to get back in shape.
All right.
Come on, bike racer.
Sounds good. Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
Get some cardio.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
All
We're
right.
going to go ahead and close out the show. I'll drop the links down below everything we talked about, as always. And we'll see everybody next week, next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Have a good night, Arthur.
Good night. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.